Hi guys, this is Telegraph continue, and to this video we're going to talk about 4 basic computer periods. What are the 4 basic computer periods? Characterized by a principal technology used to solve the input, processing, output, and communication problems of the time. So first we have the pre-mechanical age or era, then mechanical age, then electromechanical age, then yung last yung electronic age. So, sa pre-mechanical age, from 3000 BC to 1450 AD, first we have writing and alphabets for communication. So, first humans communicated only through speaking and picture drawings. Then, 3000 BC, the Sumerians in Mesopotamia, what is today southern Iraq, devised cuneiform. Then, around 2000 BC, Phoenicians created symbols. Then the Greeks later adopted the Phoenician alphabet and added vowels. The Romans gave the letters Latin names to create the alphabet we use today. So, then this is an example of cave painting from Lascaux, France. So sa drawing, communication, no? So ito yung mga kadalasan nakikita natin po sa mga kuweba, yung mga painting ng mga sinuunang tao. Then petroglyph, so ito yung carving sa bato or engraving ng mga example, mga drawing, engraving nila sa bato instead na painting lang. Then we have number 2, paper and pen, so and input technologies. Sumerians input technology was a stylus that would scratch marks in with clay. Then about 2600 BC, the Egyptians write on papyrus plant. So yung papyrus, kung muna ito, narinig natin to sa yung mga ancient mga paper, no, sa Egypt. Around 1000 AD, the Chinese made paper from rags on which modern day paper making is based. So ito yung pinakauna talaga natin matawag natin na papel na, no, from Chinese. Then number 3, books and libraries. So ito yung belong sa permanent storage devices. Religious leaders in Mesopotamia kept the earliest books. Then the Egyptians kept scrolls. Yung kadalasan naririnig natin yung example sa Bible, na yung mga nakikita mga scrolls sa mga ruins. Then around 600 BC, the Greeks began to fold sheets of papyrus vertically into leaves and bind them together. Then the first numbering system, Egyptian system, the number 1 to 9 as vertical lines, the number 10 as a U or circle, then the number 100 as a coiled rope, and the number 1000 as a lotus blossom. The first numbering system similar to those in use today were invented between 100 to 200 AD by Hindus in India who created a 9-digit numbering system. Then around 1875 AD, the concept of zero was developed. So yun yung history ng ating numbering system. Then the first calculator, so yung abacus, one of the very first information processor. So nakikita na naman natin to, no, example, mga kindergarten or sa elementary, kadalasan ito yung pinapagamit sa ating pag-solve ng mga example, mga multiplication table. Yan, so yung abacus. Then we go to the second period, which is mechanical age. Then in 1450 to 1840 AD, the first information explosion. We have Johann Gutenberg, from Mainz, Germany, invented the movable metal type printing press in 1450. Then the development of book indexes and the widespread use of page numbers. Then the first book to ever be printed was a Latin language Bible printed in Mainz, Germany, na inimbento ni Gutenberg yung sa kanyang metal type printing press. So Gutenberg's Bibles were surprisingly beautiful, as each leaf Gutenberg printed was later colorfully hand illuminated. So ito yung si Gutenberg. Then the second one is the first general purpose computers. So actually people who held the job title computer one who work with numbers. So kung yung trabaho mo is yung mga numbers, so tawag doon is computer, no? So John Napier 1614 allow multiplication and division to be reduced to addition and subtraction. So in 1617 he employed an ancient numerical scheme as the Arabian lattice lays out a special version of the multiplication tables on a set of four-sided wooden rods, allowing users to multiply and divide a number and perform square roots and cube roots. So ito po si John Napier. Then we have number 3, yung slide rules, then yung the Pascaline Leibniz machine. So first we have slide rule. So early 1600s. So William Otre. So an English mathematician and Anglican clergyman invented the slide rule. So early example siya ng ating analog computer. So ito po yung ating slide rule para siyang ruler. Slide mo yung ito para ma-compute at saka ito slide mo lang. So para talaga siyang ruler. So slide rule. Ito po si William Otre. Then we have si Wilhelm Schickard. So siya po ay isang professor at the University of Tübingen, Germany. Invents the first mechanical calculator. Yung kanina is yung early example ng analog computer. Ito po yung first mechanical calculator ang Wilhelm Schickard. So it can work with 6 digits and carries digits across columns. So it works but never makes it beyond prototype stage. So hanggang prototype lang po yung ginawa, hindi na sa mga market na model. So ito po si Wilhelm Schickard. Then we have the Pascaline by Blaise Pascal. So invented by Blaise Pascal 1623 to 1662. So French mathematician, one of the first mechanical computing machines. So around 1642, made out of clock gears and levers, and could solve basic mathematical problems like addition and subtraction. Ito po si Blaise Pascal. So ito po yung kaniyang the Pascaline. So as you can see, may mga gears po siya. Ikot-ikotin lang. Ito po parang mga gears ng orasan, no, relo. And then ito po yung diagram ng interior. So ito po yung mga gears parang sa orasan lang po. So then we have Leibniz machine. So Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz, so 1646 to 1716, German mathematician and philosopher, invented a machine called the step reckoner that could multiply 5-digit and 12-digit numbers yielding up to 16-digit number. So ito po si Gottfried Wilhelm. So ito po yung invention niya. So step reckoner. So parang yung makakambyo ka, ikot-ikotan mo yung mga ito. Parang fishing ring, no? So then we go to Charles Babbage. So Babbage engine. So Charles Babbage 1791 to 1871, eccentric English mathematician, also called the father of computer or computing. So he designed the analytical engine, and it was this design that the basic framework of the computers of today are based on. So siya yung nag-design ng, or siya yung naging basihan ng mga kasalukuyang computers ngayon. Siya si Charles Babbage, again, who is the father of computing or computer. Ito po siya. Then we have yung another working model na ginawa niya is yung the difference engine. So yung kanina ito yung analytical engine, which is dinesign niya lang pero hindi niya natapos paggawa. So iba na yung nag-construct ng analytical engine niya. So hindi niya natapos paggawa. No? Ito yung difference engine niya. Working model created in 1822, the method of differences. Yan yung difference engine. Ito po siya. Then ito yung analytical engine na, which is later yung basis, yung naging basihan ng mga computer ngayon. So Joseph Marie Jacquard Sloom, so designed during the 1830s. So parts are remarkably similar to modern day computers. So meron siyang the store, then the mill, then the punch card. So punch card idea picked up by Babbage from Joseph Marie Jacquard's 1752 to 1834 loom. So introduced in 1801 binary logic fixed program that would operate on real time. So ito yung parang ganito siya. So ito yung mga butas. So yan yung pamasukan, parang yan yung binary number. So ito yung example, ito mga sunod. Kung kung nakakita na kayo yung paggawa ng mga ba yan yung waving, yung mag-wave magawa ng banig ata yan tawag, o mga tela. So ang mga design is ito yung sa butas. Ito yung basehan ng design ito. Kasi yung may butas lang ang pinapasukan nitong mga lubid. So yan yung sa punch card. So then yung store, yung nail, ito yung sa part na punch card. So punch card idea picked up by Babbage from Joseph Marie Jacquard. Yun yung naging parang kinuha na ng idea ni Charles Babbage sa paggawa niya yung kanyang programmable na computer na si analytical engine. Then we have Augusta Ada Byron. So in 1815 to 1852, the Countess of Lovelace, so also known as Ada Lovelace, and considered as the first computer programmer or the first programmer. So the programming language Ada is named in her honor. So ito po si Ada Lovelace, or yung considered as first programmer. So kung sa father of computing is si Charles Babbage, at kung sa first programmer naman is si Ada Lovelace or si Augusta Ada Byron. Then we have Electromechanical Age. So in 1840 to 1940 AD. So the discovery of ways to harness electricity was the key advance made during this period. So knowledge and information could now be converted into electrical impulses. So yung tapos na tayo sa mga mechanical age. Then sa yung kasi yung una sa first nating period is yung sa mga basics, sa mga sinaunang tao, gumagamit pa sila ng example, mga bato, yung pag-communicate, yung mga sa speaking, at saka yung sa painting. Then later, nag-evolve siya to mga gears. Then now, sa tatlong period natin, yung electromechanical age, which is na-harness na yung ating electricity. So now, we have yung mga highlights, the beginning of telecommunication. So we have first yung voltaic battery, or yung first battery natin, no? So in late 18th century. Then we have the telegram, so in early 1800s, yung telegraph. Then we have Morse code developed in 1835 by Samuel Morse. Dot and dashes. So yung mga parents niyo baka nakaabot pa nito, yung sa magpadala ka ng mensahe sa ibang lugar is parang dot lang yung marireceive niya din, yung may isang decoder lang yung magta-translate ng sa telegrama, yung sa Morse code, no? Then telephone and radio na invention ni Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. Then followed by the discovery of the electrical waves travel through space and can produce an effect far from the point at which they originated. So these two events lead to the invention of radio ni Guglielmo Marconi in 1894. So ito yung ating sinasabing first battery. So voltaic battery by Alessandro Volta. So invented the voltaic pile, which is considered to be the first source of stored electricity in the 18th century. Ito po si Alexandro Volta. Ito po yung voltaic pile, so voltaic battery. Then we have the telegraph by Samuel Morse. So invented the first magnetic telegraph in the year 1832 and made an experiment version in 1850. So ito po yun. Ito po yung invention na ito po si Samuel Morse. So yun yung sa Morse code na parang itap-tap na ng mga dot yung parang naka code, cryptic code yung sa Morse code. Then telephone and radio. So sa telephone yung invento si Alexander Graham Bell. So the first successful bidirectional transmission of clear speech by Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas A. Watson was made on March 10, 1876 when Bell spoke into his device. Then, Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you. And Watson answered. So, yun yung pinakaunang salita or message na na-transmit sa telepono. No? Ito po si Alexander Graham Bell. Ito siya. Ito naman si Watson. No? Then we have Guglielmo Marconi. So best known for his development of radio telegraph system which served as the foundation of establishment of numerous affiliated companies worldwide. So ito po siya, si Guglielmo Marconi. So yung sa magnetic telegraph is yung si Samuel Morse. Then later nag-improve na-develop ni Guglielmo Marconi na naging radio telegraph system. So wireless na siya. So hindi na siya wired tulad na yun sa kay Samuel Morse. So radio telegraph system which served the foundation ng establishment of numerous affiliated companies. Then electromechanical computing. So we have Herman Horowitz and IBM. So ito po si Herman. Then ito po yung census machine. Una. So mga parang punch card lang, no? So malaki parang cabinet. Then early punch card. So ito po. So butas-butasan lang kung ilang number, example, parang ticket lang sa bus, no? Then ito po yung mga punch card workers. So sila po yung nagbubutas. Example sa census. Yan yun. Ito po yung pambutas nila. Then, by 1890, the International Business Machines Corporation or yung IBM, ito po yung first logo nila. No? Then, Mark I. So, Howard Aiken, a PhD student at Harvard University, built the Mark I. So, computer niya sa January 1942. Then, 8 feet tall. Then, 51 feet long. 2 feet thick. Then, weighed 5 tons, used about 750,000 parts. So, ito po yung computer nila. So, napakalaki. So, di magkasya sa isang room. So, ito parang dalawang room to. So, imagine ito po yung specs niya. So, kaya nga nung unang panahon is mga mayayaman lang yung may computer kasi hindi kaya ipasok sa bahay natin at saka mahal din. Pero ngayon, habang tumatagal, lalong lumiliit at nagiging mas mura. Then, paper tape stored data and program instructions. So, noong unang panahon, yung mga data is stored pa sa paper tape. So, hindi pa naging uso yung CD, yung mga magnetic tape, ito pa. So, parang papel lang, then naka-punch card yung data. So, ito lang, kumabasahin ng machine. Ito, mga butas to sa paper tape nila. Ito yung mga rolyo. Imagine, ito yung assignment mo, napakaraming mga paper tape, no? Then we have yung last natin, yung fourth na period natin for basic computer period is yung electronic age natin. So in 1940 to present. So first tries early 1940s electronic vacuum tubes. Yun yung pinakauna. So number 2, Eckert and Mauchly, the first high-speed general-purpose computer using vacuum tubes. Electronic numerical integrator and computer ENIAC. So, 1946, used vacuum tubes, not mechanical devices, to do its calculations. So, gamit nila yung pag-calculate is vacuum tube na hindi na yung mechanical device. So, hence, the first electronic computer. So, developers John Mauchly, a physicist, and J. Phosphor Eckert, an electrical engineer. The Moore School of Electrical Engineering at the University of Pennsylvania, founded by the U.S. Army, but it would not store its programs or its set of instructions. So, hindi store yung instruction niya sa loob ng computer nila. Then, ito yung ENIAC. No? So, again, yung ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. So, ito yung team. So left, right, si J. Presper Eckert, saka yung iba. Then ito yun. So as you can see, marami pa ring parts. Kasi parang may mga mga wire. Yun yung unang mga computers ng unang panahon. So mahirap i-manage. Imagine pag magkasunog, bitbitin mo lahat, no? So napakabigat talaga. Then kapag may sira, mahirap hanapin yung may sira o may daga. Baka kinagat ng mahirap hanapin, no? Then ito yung vacuum tube. So parang mga bote guys, parang refrigerator, nakasalang yung pinapalamig yung mga bottle ng Coke or mga soft drinks, no? Ito yung vacuum tube. Then, pangalawa, the first stored program computer. So, early 1940s, mostly Eckert began to design EDVAC, the Electronic Discrete Variable Computer. So, John von Neumann's influential report in June 1945, the report of EDVAC. Then, British scientists used this report and outpaced the Americans. So, Max Newman headed up the effort at Manchester University, where Manchester Mark I went into operation in 1948, becoming the first stored program computer. So yung kanina, yung si ENIAC, ito is not stored, no, not stored in program, so hindi nakastore yung program niya. Kumpara dito kay EDVAC at saka yung kay EDSAC. So itong si EDVAC is naunahan sa pag-operate ni EDSAC. So, kasi yung binalita, example, ng binalita, kagaya lang sa atin, yung parang nagbalita ka na may gagawin ka, tapos may nakita, nag-sales or sabihin natin, gustong lamangan ka or ginamit yung idea mo, tapos inunahan ka. Mas una pang natapos yung nakakuha ng idea sa'yo. So, parang ganito to. Then, Morris, so, scientist, EDSAC, Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator in 1949, 2 years before EDVAC was finished. So 2 years mas nauna sila kumpara kay EDVAC. So thus EDSAC became the first stored program computer in general use, not a prototype. So hindi prototype si EDSAC. So siya yung first stored program computer. So yan yung si EDSAC o Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator. Then, ito yung Manchester University Mark I. Ito yung prototype nila. So, same, maraming wirings. So, hirap kapag nagkasunog or may kinagat ng daga, mahirap hanapin, no? At saka, it consumes a lot of space, no? Then, the first general purpose computer for commercial use. So, Universal Automatic Computer or C, UNIVAC. So, late 1940s, Eckert and Motley began to development of computer called UNIVAC. So, Universal Automatic Computer. So, nag-develop naman sila ng mas bago. So, Remington Rand, the first UNIVAC delivered to Census Bureau in 1951. So, but a machine called Leo or Lyons Electronic Office went into action a few months before UNIVAC and became the world's first commercial computer. So, naunahan na naman sila. So, nung una, naunahan sila dito. So, si EDVAC naunahan ni EDSAC. So ngayon, naunahan na naman si UNIVAC ni Leo. So parang minamalas itong dalawa, no? Naunahan sila sa pagpalabas or pagpa-operate ng kanilang computer, paggawa, no? Sa development nila. So that's yung first commercial computer is si Leo or Lyons Electronic Office. Went into action a few months. So lapit-lapit lang kumpara nung una na 2 years yung pagitan nila. So, para siya sa census, no? Then, ito po yung UNIVAC publicity photo. So, medyo mas okay na. Wala ning wiring. Nilagyan na nila ng cover. So, as you can see, parang monitor. So, parang photocopier. And ito parang mga washing machine. Pero, yung ano kasi, yung una, yung mga ano nila, ginawa is may mga wirings. Pakita-kita pa yung mga vacuum tube. Kumpara ngayon, is hindi na, no? Ito. So then the 4 generations of digital computing. So first generation is yung example yung first generation natin in 1951 to 1958. Yung sa first generation is yung vacuum tube. So as their main logical or logic elements. So, punch cards to input and externally stored data. Yung punch card, yung sa input nila, pansak mo lang, may mga butas. So, yun yung serve as input at saka yung output is naka-punch card din. Then, rotating magnetic or yung output na storage. So, rotating magnetic drums for internal storage, data, and programs. So, programs written in machine language, assembly language, and it requires a compiler. So, machine language and assembly language, part siya ng low-level language din yun. Directly na understood ni computer is yung machine language, which is, has only two values, yung 0 or 1. So, two values lang yan. So, yan yung iintindihan lang ni computer. So, kaya, it needs to be compiled para mas. Kasi kapag high-level language yung gamit mo, si high-level language is needs to be translated or ni compiler, compile mo niya, then, to machine language before ma-understand ni computer. Then we have the second generation, yung transistors. First generation, vacuum tube. Then yung second generation is yung transistor in 1959 to 1963. So vacuum tubes replaced by transistors as main logic element. So AT&T's Bell Laboratories in 1940s, crystalline mineral material called semiconductors could be used in design of a device called a transistor. So magnetic tape and disk began to replace punch cards and external storage device. So pinalitan yung ating punch tape, yung paper tape natin, yung mga punch card, so replace na yung magnetic tape and disk. So yun yung pagsulputan yung mga example sa mga cassette tape, yung mga magnetic tape, no? Then magnetic cores, very small donut-shaped magnets that could be polarized in one or two direction to represent data swung under within the computer became the primary internal storage technology. Yun yung nauso, yung mga CD, DVD, mga diskette, yun yung mga magnetic disk na nauso no, pinalitan yung punch card na storage device. So high-level programming language, example, Fortran at saka yung COBOL. So kanina, yung sa vacuum tube is directly example, yung gamit lang is yung si machine language saka si assembly language. So kailangan nila ng compiler kapag gamit niya ay si assembly language. Then we have the third generation is yung si IC or integrated circuit. So individual transistor were replaced by integrated circuits. So magnetic tape and disk completely replace punch cards and external storage devices. So na-wipe out na talaga yung ating mga punch card. So magnetic core internal memories began to give way to a new form, metal oxide semiconductors or MOS memory, which like integrated circuits use silicon back chips. Operating systems, the advanced programming language like Basic developed, which is where Bill Gates and Microsoft got their start in 1975. So yun yung mga operating system nagsimula yung kay Bill Gates. Basic. Then we have the fourth generation from 1979 to present, pero mas may present pa yung fifth generation, which is artificial intelligence or AI, which we'll talk sa next tutorial natin. So we have large scale and very large scale integrated circuit, LSIs and VLSIs microprocessor that contain memory, logic, and control circuit and CPU, central processing unit, on the single chip, so which allowed for home use personal computers or PCs like Apple and Mac and IBM PC. So yung sa microprocessor, so even though may ating AI na artificial intelligence sa fifth generation is hindi pa siya fully operational or fully functioning. So kaya kahit ngayon is microprocessor pa rin yung gamit natin. Then we have first Apple Mac released in 1984, then IBM PC introduced in 1981, then debuts with MS-DOS, Microsoft Disk Operating System, then yung fourth generation language software products, Basic Lotus, Microsoft Word, many others. So graphical user interface or GUI for PC arrives in early 1980s. Then Windows debuts 1983, but it's quite a clunker. Windows couldn't take off until version 3 was released. So ito po yung sa Apple GUI. So yan yung simula yung mga operating system, example yung sa Microsoft sa yung Apple. At saka Then ngayon, example, yung mga processor natin from yung mga dual core, naging core i3, core i5, core i7, so nagtataas. So nagtataas din yung presyo. So mas mahal. So ganun yung processor or si CPU again, Central Processing Unit, which is yung brain ng computer. So kung gaano ka laki yung processor mo, yung specs niya is malaki din yung mas mabilis din yung performance ng computer mo, no? So mas mabilis siya mag-process ng mga task or yung mga calculation. So this ends our lesson. So hope may natutunan po kayo. So again, we have yung ating 4 basic computer periods. So first, yung ating pre-mechanical age, then yung ating mechanical age, then electromechanical age, at saka yung ating electronic age. So see you sa next video tutorial natin.